I've talked a lot in the past about the anti-science agenda of the anti-abortion religious right, but this week they passed a bill in Ohio that, amazingly, I don't think I've ever addressed before, and that is a fetal heartbeat bill. A fetal heartbeat bill is similar to a fetal pain bill, which I have discussed before, but just to sum it up, in which a legislature attempts to ban abortion based upon the point at which they believe a fetus can feel pain. Now, I say that it's at the point that they believe that happens because there is no current scientific consensus on when or even if or how much a fetus can ever feel pain. So no one really knows, and so it's a completely bullshit way to ban abortion, usually around 20 weeks. That's usually what they get when they throw the dart at the dartboard. Fetal heartbeat bills are amazingly even worse. They attempt to ban abortion at the point that a doctor can detect a heartbeat. What point is that, you ask? Great question. And it's absolutely insane because there are so many different factors that can determine when you detect a heartbeat in a fetus. A fetus's heart actually forms and begins to beat before it's even technically considered a fetus. So at about 3 to 4 weeks, when it's still just a tiny little embryo, that's about when it has a tiny little heart. But the bill isn't about when the fetus or embryo has a heart. It's about when a heartbeat can be detected. And so when can you detect that heartbeat? Well, it depends on a number of things, like what tool are you using? If you're using a stethoscope, you're going to have to wait about 9 weeks to hear a heartbeat. If you use a transvaginal ultrasound, aka a wand that is shoved into the vagina, then you can hear it at 4 to 6 weeks. And that's before many women even realize they're pregnant, let alone before they've had time to consider whether or not they're physically, emotionally, or psychologically ready to carry a baby to term. And way before they've managed to then go through all of the red tape that states throw in women's ways before they're allowed to get an abortion. Of course, if a woman is lucky, maybe she'll be a little fat, or the embryo will be in a hard to hear place, both of which can change when the heartbeat is detected, maybe giving her a tiny bit more time. So we already have a few issues with the fetal heartbeat abortion ban. It's imprecise, it varies from person to person, and it bans abortion for many women who won't even know that they're pregnant when the deadline for it passes. Let's add a couple more issues. Still on the scientific kick, why is the heartbeat even so important? What is it about a heartbeat that determines anything about an embryo? Lots of people have heartbeats, but are dead as they can possibly be. And lots of people don't have heartbeats for a significant portion of time, but then are able to live full and complete lives. This is essentially medieval thinking. It's the idea that the soul or the essence of a person is located in their hearts, and that all of that gray gunk up in your skull is basically just packing peanuts to fill out your hat. It's nonsense. And a heartbeat just doesn't define personhood in any way, and it doesn't give an embryo any more rights than the woman carrying it. A woman who, I just want to put out there, definitely will have a detectable heartbeat, if it matters. On the political side, the heartbeat bill is also a terrible idea. It's 100% unconstitutional. Roe v. Wade established that an abortion is legal for women up until the point of viability, so 22 to 24 weeks. So why did Ohio just rush to pass this bill overnight, attached at the very last minute to a completely unrelated child abuse law? Well, you may remember a few weeks ago when I talked about how Donald Trump wants to outlaw abortion by nominating anti-abortion justices to the Supreme Court. But right now, I said, there are no cases that are in the pipeline that would make it to the Supreme Court so that they could challenge Roe v. Wade. And that was a good thing. But it was a bad thing, and that I pointed out it would probably lead to more states pushing more of their insane anti-abortion legislation. So, gosh, that didn't take long at all. Ohio's Republican Senate leader even admitted that this is exactly what they're doing. He said, a new president, new Supreme Court appointees changed the dynamic, and there was consensus in our caucus to move forward. Previously, they didn't try this because they knew that the Supreme Court wouldn't be on their side, that people would challenge it, it would move up through the courts maybe, and if it did reach the Supreme Court, they would only strengthen Roe v. Wade. That's why a fetal heartbeat bill that was previously passed in North Dakota was struck down in a lower court and promptly died. But now there's no guarantee that the Supreme Court is going to rule in favor of the previous decisions. Now, Ohio doctors will face a felony charge if they perform an abortion without searching for a heartbeat, or if they perform an abortion but they've already detected a heartbeat. And there's no exception for rape victims. There's one thing stopping this bill from becoming a law, and that's a veto by Republican Ohio Governor John Kasich, who you might recall from when he ran for president a while back. Whether you live in Ohio or not, you can send a message to Kasich and you can let him know how you feel about this completely ridiculous anti-science, anti-woman law. I've got a link to the easy form you can fill out down below. Goes to the Patreon transcript and all the links you need. Or even better, give that jerk a call. His number is 614-466-3555. Let him know what you think, because maybe Kasich still has his eye on the national prize. Maybe he's hoping that we can somehow kick Donald Trump out and get an actual level-headed Republican in office. Maybe it's worth a shot. Kasich has said in the past that he wouldn't want to sign a bill like this into law because it's completely unconstitutional, and he is there to uphold the Constitution. So let's give him a chance. Give him a call. Let him know it's important, because it is. Again, if this passes into law, it's going to have to be challenged so that women in Ohio can continue to receive health care. And then it's going to move up through the courts, and then who knows what's going to happen. So please contact Kasich. I can't emphasize this enough. Thanks.